All right. So we got an update involving the Falconets of Nigeria. The Falconets are Nigeria's under-20 women's national team. And according to reports, head coach of the team, Christopher Danjuma, has invited 32 players for the first stage of camping. The team is getting ready for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, which will be hosted in Colombia this year, starting from the 31st of August ending at the 22nd of September. We're grouped alongside South Korea, Germany, and Venezuela. So yeah, 32 players invited into camp. Pretty sure that number is going to be reduced at some point in the campaign. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the players invited. We're also going to be looking at some names that didn't show up in the list. But before all that though, please make sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. So like I said, 32 players invited. We got 4 goalkeepers, 8 defenders, 8 midfielders, and 12 forwards. If you look at the list right here, kind of mixed up when you look at some players are in the wrong places. We'll try to get that right as we go through this. Starting with the goalkeepers, of course, Andeline Ngwechi of Delta Queens, goalkeeper of the season before this one, as she won the league title with Delta Queens. Started as the #1 goalkeeper for the Falconets, kind of lost her spot, but still in the list. Let's see what she does. Can she win her spot back? And another player to showcase. We're not going to go through every single player, by the way. Another player to showcase here, Faith Omilana of Naija actually was the under-17 goalkeeper, won the bronze medal at the last under-17 World Cup. Just came up short at the President's FA Cup. Took Naija to the final of the competition, but they lost by a goal to nil to Rivers Angel. So she's been having a fine time in the league, and looking forward to seeing what she does with the Falconets. Actually was in goal at the under-20 competition at the African Games. She was in goal. We went all the way to the final. She was in goal in all those matches. So let's see how that goes. Then you move to the defenders. Oluchi Ohagulem, been the captain of the side, the Nasarawa Amazons fullback, plays as a left back for the team. Had some good performances for the team. Let's see how it goes. You got Jumoke Alani. Nasarawa Amazons actually thought she was with Edo Queens. Don't know when that move happened. Jumoke Alani, also a player that is a standby on the Falconets. Not the Falconets, on the Super Falcons team going to the Olympics. So there's a good chance that she could also go to the Olympics, then come back and play in the Under-20 World Cup. So that's still up in the air right there. A fullback, of course, she can play both fullback positions pretty well, I might add. Then you got Shukurat Oladipo, FC Robo. She's like a utility type player. She can play as a fullback, she can play as a midfielder, she can play as a central defender. So she's a player that can really play anywhere the coach needs her to. Another player to check out on here, you got Comfort for Lauren Shaw on the defenders, and Edo Queens. Back-to-back league champion Comfort for Lauren Shaw. I told y'all when she was with Delta Queens, she's a top defender. Went to Edo Queens, brought that winning mentality, won the league title. She's a player that actually has a cap for the Super Falcons, played in a game for the Super Falcons, came off the bench, did pretty well. So this is a player definitely to look out for. Was part of the under-17 World Cup team that finished 3rd last time. She actually had a rough time leaving that competition. She missed the 2 penalties in the penalty shootout. Not 2, I believe it. She missed the penalty in the one against USA, then missed the penalty in the one against Colombia. Then you're thinking this is a player that is shattered coming back to the country. But what does she do? She tightens up her laces, goes to work, wins the league title with Delta Queens, makes the move to Edo Queens, and what do you know? Wins the league title with Edo Queens again. So this is a player that has accomplished a lot ever since a setback. You got Taiwo Lawal on here. I believe she plays overseas, if I'm not mistaken, but she's not a defender. From the last time I checked, she was a striker actually. So it's kind of crazy that she's on the defenders list. Then midfielders, Yina Adu, Nasarawa Amazon midfielder, can play as a central midfielder, can play as an attacking midfielder. Quality player, wore the number 10 for the team at the African Games, if you can remember. Real nice player, so expecting her to do big things. Olushola Shobowale, also of Nasarawa Amazons. This is a player that actually got the first assist in our qualification, got the assist against Tanzania, that 1-1 draw we had away to Tanzania. She was pretty big in that game. Then you move on, you got Chioma Olise of Edo Queens, was part of the last under 20 set, came off the bench for the likes of Deborah Abiodun and Esther Oyenezide. Now she's probably going to be the main focus on this team, so looking forward to what she does. Was a big part of the Edo Queens title win last season, this season that just concluded. So definitely looking for her to bring that confidence onto the Falconets. Then you got Chinyere Kalu, Nasarawa Amazon, kind of like our Rodri on the team. Great midfielder, can play as a defensive midfielder, also as a central midfielder. Quality player, good strike on her. She scored a beauty in one of those waffle competitions. So definitely a top player right there, and looking forward to her at this competition if she makes the cut. Then the last one, not the last one, we got two more on the midfielder side to talk about. Rofieri Morin, Stade Reims of France. I think you could put her as a defender or forward, but definitely not a midfielder. So that's kind of wrong right there. Of course, Rofieri Morin, a player with Super Falcons caps on her, under her belt, was part of the last Under-20 World Cup, made the move with Tosin Demehi to Stade Reims of France after the Under-20 World Cup. Had a great time with them last season, took them to the French women's playoffs, and they finished fourth. They kind of came up short in the end, but she definitely had a super season. She scored against all the big clubs in France last season. Lyon, which is a top 2 team in the world right now. PSG, another team that's one of the top teams in the world. And of course, Paris FC of Chiamaka Nnadozie. Chiamaka Nnadozie wasn't in goal though. Somebody told me I have to always bring that up when I say she scored against Paris FC. But last on the midfielder side, you got Zikora Agama. I believe this is Zikora Fege. I can't pronounce that name, but I believe that's who that is. The big lady from Naija Ratels scored a bunch of goals in the President's FA Cup this season. Took her team to the final of that competition. You can't forget the 2 goals she scored against Remo Stars in the semi-final of the competition to get them there. So definitely a player that I've been looking at for a while now. She had a number of goals last season, was one of the leading goal scorers in the league. Not this season that just finished, but the season before that. So this is a player that has been doing her thing, and she's finally getting a chance to maybe do it on the big stage. She brings a whole heap of size to the team, probably going to be one of the biggest players on the team. Now moving on to the forward section, and we're going to start with Chiamaka Okuchukwu of Rivers Angels, a player that was part of the last Under-20 set, went to the last World Cup with the likes of Esther Yenezide, Deborah Abiodun, Tosin Demehi, and Co. And has been part of this team just about, was part of the team that played in the African Games. She kind of owes us some money from that, because in the final game, she kind of switched it up and started being a little selfish. She was really good all through the competition. Don't know what went through her head in the final game. Then next up, you got Chinaza Ago. It says Delta Queens, but I thought she was based in Saudi Arabia. Seen her play in Saudi Arabia all last season, so I don't know how this happened that they're saying Delta Queens. Of course, player of the season, not this season, but the season before last. And she had a great season with Delta Queens, won the league title, made that big money move to Saudi Arabia, and she's been playing over there. Not too many goals, but this is a player that can definitely bring a lot to the team. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her out there if she makes it. Then you got Chiamaka Osigwe, Edo Queens. And I really didn't do any homework on this, but I'm thinking Chiamaka Osigwe is really Goodness Osigwe, who we have watched a couple of times on this channel. Quality winger. She brings a lot to the table, Osigwe, and I feel like this is definitely a player that can, add that extra sauce to this team. She could be a starter on this team. She is that good, but just waiting to see how the coach makes everything work out. Of course, Janet Akekoromowi of Seaside Oshuala Academy came into the team during qualifiers, scored some goals that got us in the World Cup. A big, strong striker, good finishing ability, nice movements on her, and definitely a player that you'll be looking forward to see at the World Cup. Then you got the big gun, Floyd Sebastian, Stade de Reims, a star on this team at the last World Cup, got us to the last World Cup, leading us in goals. Played on the under-20s a couple of times before she made the move to Stade de Reims. Now, at a club, she didn't really get that much playing time. She did make a debut, but outside of that, not much, not even on the bench in a bunch of occasions. But if you go back and look at how Rofieri Moran went into the team, it was kind of like that. She didn't really play when she got there, but the next season, she started coming on, and after a while, she became a mainstay in the team. So hopefully that's the same thing that happens with Floyd Sebastian over there in France. Now, moving on, we got Amina Bello of Otero College in the USA. Otero College, of course, a university, but it's a community college or something like a JUCO. I think players go to schools like that hoping to get their grades right, then move up to like a Division I school, something like Pittsburgh University, where Randy Waldrum is the head coach. Not saying that that's the plan Amina Bello has, but maybe. Then she does play there. She does go to school there, but she also plays for Colorado Pride. That was where I thought she played altogether. I ain't know anything about the school part. But Amina Bello, definitely a top-class player. I kind of was asking about her, like, where is she at when she wasn't getting picked up for this team? But we now know where she was at. She was in school. She was getting things done, and really happy for that. And last but not least, we got a player that a lot of people were asking me about, Riley Adebowale of Bohemian FC in the Republic of Ireland. So people were like, who is she? So I did some research. I found out she really doesn't go by Riley Adebowale. She goes by Simone Riley. She plays for that side. She's really a midfielder. If you ask me, I don't think she's a forward. I think she's a midfielder, more like a central midfielder. Has some nice touches, got size on her. She's real tall from what I see. And I think she could be a good addition to this team. Of course, she has to make the team, but looking like a player that could bring something a little bit different to the side. It was actually through her that I kind of knew that this list was official, because when I found her Instagram, I saw her agency page, and they kind of announced it. So I was like, yeah, this seems like it's all official right here. But definitely looks like a player that could bring something to the Falconets. So let's see if she does make the final cut for this team, because we got a whole bunch of quality players on this side. Now, moving on to the final part, which is the part about players whose name did not appear on the list. We're going to start with Okpeyemi Ajakaye, Madrid CFF forward. Kind of a huge shock that she's not on this list right here. I was definitely expecting her to be on this team. Was part of the under-17 side that finished third at the World Cup. Also was a part of this team, was the leading scorer at the Wafu B under-20 competition. She scored some beautiful goals in that competition. She also has a Super Falcon cap. She got that cap against Ethiopia. She was part of that goal that we scored that was canceled and everybody knew should have been a goal. But yeah, quality player, definitely a big miss right here. Then you got the pairing of Shakirat Olamide Oyinlola and Miracle Sani. Both these players play at the La Liga Academy. It happened right after the Under-17 World Cup. They made the move to the La Liga Academy. a player like Shakira Olamide Lola has gotten a lot of awards over there. He's been doing big things. And we were hoping that, hey, this was really the final thing. You do all that at the La Liga Academy, and you bring what you learned into this team. And we see if this is something that we need to keep doing. We need to keep sending players over there. We can see if you've improved. We can see a lot of things. But none of that was allowed to happen. I think this is really very, very wrong. We should have at least brought those players in camp to at least see, can they add anything to this team. And if I'm the La Liga Academy, I might be looking for players from different countries now, because this would be the next step after, all that we've done at the academy. We want to show working, and we want to see them, perform at a stage like this. And for you not to allow it, it's like, what's the point? And you know that, the La Liga and the NFF have had this connection for a while. And it I don't really like it. I don't really like this right here. There's probably an explanation for it, and I would like to hear the explanation, but I really don't think that these players should not be it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. Then you also have to look at the 3 players I've mentioned already, all from the last under-17 side. And you're questioning the coaches, like, do you have a problem that they finished 3rd? Is it that you just want to prove that you could do something with your own players? I'm not feeling it from the coach at all. I'm not feeling that whatsoever. I don't know what's up with him and his decision making, but I'm not feeling that at all. Then last but not least, another player from that under-17 side that finished 3rd in the World Cup, Linda Jiwaku of Bielsa Queens. This is a player that's been called up for the Super Falcons, and I just don't understand why she won't be called up for the Falconets. I don't. It's like things like these don't make sense. Like a player like Okpemi Ajaka has a Super Falcon cap, you don't call her. Linda Jiwaku has a Super Falcon call up, you don't call her. So it's like you're trying to prove that your players are going to do it, not anybody else's players, which I don't want to hear that if you don't perform. That's just the thing at the end of the day. Linda Jiwaku is a player that has proven herself in the Nigerian league. She was, of course, in that under-17 competition. She came in as the penalty specialist for the Flamingos. Then in the Nigerian league, had some good performances for Confluence Queens. Took them to the Super 6, not this season, but the season before that. Took them to the Super 6, had some credible performances in that competition, and I definitely thought that she would at least be put on this team. With all the goalkeeping issues, at least 2 of the players on this list right now have had issues as goalkeepers for the Falcons. So why not bring in a player that you've never tested, that you've never really looked at and given a chance? Why not bring her in and see what she can do? But at the end of the day, the coach makes the decisions, so we just got to rock with them, and we got to believe in them and support them, and let's see how it goes at the end. But let me know your thoughts on these things right here. The Falconets list, the 32 players that are invited into camp. Let me know which players you think really deserve the spot in this list. Put it in the comment section. And please don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.